are coming to you from the city beautiful Chicago, Illinois, where tonight Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. It's Paul Konerko, Jose Abreu, Adam Eaton and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Evan Longoria, Joe Madden, and the Tampa Bay Rays. Hi, everybody, and welcome. With Steve Stone, I'm Ken Harrell. As we get set to bring you Game 2 of this 4-game setting, Game 2 of this 6-game homestand. 4 of these guys finish it off next Tuesday and Wednesday against the Tigers. If you missed the game last night, it was long. It was over 4 hours long. You know, and one thing about it, we went into the bottom of the 9th inning, trailing by 2. Evan Longoria hit that 2-run homer. We had walked 11 of their guys, and we scored 5 times to win that ball game 9-6. And Steve, what can you say about Jose Abreu?
It's pretty easy. You say Jose Abreu, Jose Abreu, Jose Abreu. And you look at the numbers, and they're startling. Now, the first time he looked at Verlander, he hit the ball out of the ballpark, and the next day against Smiley, he hit the ball out of the ballpark the first time he saw him. He's been devastating, and last night, ending the game with a grand slam. When you look at these numbers, the runs, the home runs, the runs batted in, slugging percentage, and OPS, he's been just absolutely unbelievable. Everything you'd want of a guy hitting in the middle of the order, and at number 3, he's sure to hit in the first inning, and he's been frightening.
Well, the guy pitching for us tonight has been pitching pretty well also.
Johnny Dank's throwing very well, and he's been consistent. He's 2-0 and 5-4 lifetime against these Rays. Doesn't mind facing the left-handers, but he would rather face right-handers, and there's a load of right-handers in the lineup tonight. So Danks, who has thrown a minimum of 6 innings every start out, has kept the ball in the ballpark. Last year he gave up 28 home runs. This year he's only given up 1. And he would like a long performance tonight because that bullpen has been used and abused. They haven't gotten the ball over the plate. With Johnny Danks on the hill, you'd expect he'd go deep into this one.
How about this? Will the Major League's best offense continue tonight? We'll watch, so sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. AT&T Uverse. AT&T Uverse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PIC-ATT. Rethink possible. And by Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com.
Welcome back to beautiful U.S. Cellular Field on a very chilly night for baseball, and wind very much a factor here tonight. Let's take a look at how Joe Madden is going to line up his Rays tonight. Ben Zobrist is leading it off with Desmond Jennings hitting in the 2 spot. Then it's Will Myers, Evan Longoria, Sean Rodriguez, who has troubled John Danks during the course of his career, James Loney, Logan Forsythe, Yunel Escobar, and Ryan Hannigan rounding it out. The key defensive setup, and how they'll line up behind John Danks, it's Diaza, Eaton, and Viciedo in the outfield, with Simeon, Ramirez, Beckham, and Abreu in the infield. Adrian Nieto gets the nod behind the plate, and our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Johnny Danks. He's 2-0 this year in his 4 starts. His ERA a fine 2.84. He's only given up 1 home run all year long, as opposed to the 28 he gave up last year. So he's keeping it in the park. And we're ready to play baseball. I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
All right, Stevie, thank you. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. So happy you could join us for Game 2 of this 4-game set. As the 32-year-old veteran, Ben Zobrist, a switch hitter, will lead it off. First pitch of the ball game is taken high and wide. Zobrist 2 for 5 last night with an RBI. Comes in hitting at .315, 3 homers. He's driven in 8.
Been a better hitter this year from the right side. He's got more power from the right side.
Good pitch right there. Ate him up inside.
Zobrist hitting .346 as a right-hand hitter with only 26 at-bats. .302 as a left-hand hitter with 63 at-bats. And he's hit 2 of his 3 home runs as a righty.
Outfield straight up, bunch just a bit. As that's off the corner. Man here at the ballpark. 330 down the left field line. 335 down the right field line. 375 in the gaps and 400 straightaway center. Low and away, 3-1. And he draws the leadoff walk. We saw that last night when 11 walks were issued by our pitching.
Not surprising that Zobrist would draw a walk, seeing as he's one of the very few hitters over the last 5 years to draw at least 70 walks each and every year, and not a good way to start this one.
No, it's not.
Votto, Fielder, and Adam Dunn, the other 3.
Here's Desmond Jennings. Hitting at .282 with a homer, 6 knocked in. And he takes ball 1. Well, I think just the fact that Johnny has talked about the first 2 innings of his starts is something that's maybe got into his head a little bit.
Well, certainly, if you come in from that bullpen knowing that you have trouble getting the ball over early, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're going to have trouble getting the ball over early. And something has got to change for him, so hopefully it will, and perhaps it'll translate into a double play ground ball.
There's a strike. Over the years, there have been a lot of pitchers who had trouble, especially in that first inning. And they've tried many different formulas, so to speak. Because there's a strike to try to get out of it. Some guys have gone down way early and really threw 100 pitches in the bullpen.
That's okay if you plan to get taken out after 5. But most guys don't want to do quite that much before the game.
Close pitch. It was inside.
Menard's pitch tracks will show you that that one did miss. Usually sets up a good straight change away.
Jennings 1 for 4 last night.
Jennings has grounded into 3 double plays, and this entire Tampa Bay team has been plagued by double plays. They've grounded into 22 of them this year.
Well, Tampa Bay, even though it might not be the most talented on the field, they do a lot of things well. He gone.
A good straight change away, and he has Jennings way out in front of it.
And that'll bring up Will Myers. But what they do is they follow the first commandment of baseball, the first rule, and that's catch the ball.
This year they have the best defense in the major leagues and committed the fewest errors with 7. Plus they have great range in the outfield. They just don't throw very well.
Myers fouls it back. And as we've talked about so often, that's the first rule in baseball. Catch the ball. It's not pitching. It's not hitting. It's catch the baseball.
Tim Timmons at home plate. Adrian Johnson at first base. Tim Welke, the crew chief, is at second. And Chris Siegel, who did a nice job behind the plate last night, is at third.
Yes, he did. First time we've seen Chris. It's 2 young umpires we have seen so far that have been impressive. One in Detroit, Hal Gibson, is also impressive.
Zobrist is 2 for 2 in stolen bases. Tampa Bay team hasn't been as aggressive as they've been in years past. They've swiped 8. They've been caught 3 times.
Now field straight up for the youngster. And a change up low and away. We played this team 7 times last year, and of the 7, we won 2 of them.
We get them 4 times out of that dome, however, and that's very much to the advantage of our ball club, especially when you consider a dome team from a warm climate and 35-degree temperatures to start this one.
That's low. So 2-1. Longoria on deck.
Last night was a rare night for Tampa Bay in that they scored 6 runs, and that for them is very good. Although they do score at home, their problem was scoring on the road. They came into this series averaging less than 2 runs scored per game. So that for them last night was a huge offensive output.
That pitch was real close, but it goes Myers' way. So a full count. Okay, take your time, boys. You got plenty of it. Nope. A little bobble by Alexei. And Myers gives him another couple of steps.
This should have been 2. It wasn't as it comes up, and that momentary bobble means that Evan Longoria is going to come to bat.
You don't like to see that. This Longoria, this young man, is quite a player. 2 for 5 last night with a 2-run homer in the top of the 9th inning over the center field fence. Love to watch him play. Great third baseman.
And in the past, you've talked about how quiet he is to the ball.
Beautiful. One of the quietest you'll ever see. He just sort of glides and wades right into it. Soft.
Last night, Matt Lindstrom got a fastball over the middle of the plate, and it was a 2-run homer, which at the time looked like it had a good shot to be a game winner. That's before the Abreu heroics, however.
And of course, he is a really good 7th, 8th, and 9th inning hitter. What that does for him is it gives him hang time, and that's what hitters have to acquire to be an outstanding hitter, is hang time. Pretty good pitch right there, close. So he's not getting anything close from Timmons.
One might have a piece of it. Maybe had it been a little lower, but you see that open stance for Longoria, and he like wades into the ball.
Full count.
Nice stop by Adrian.
Probably the guy who a lot of our fans have never seen hit, who had the most hang time maybe in the history of the game, was from Japan. Actually, it was Taiwan. Sadahara O. Great hitter.
Well, he hit it off that raised front foot, seemingly suspending it in the air.
He did.
It looked like he bounced himself on one leg and then hit over 800 home runs.
Well, the closest thing we've seen to it was Malott in our game way back when. Rocket, meanwhile, it's a hang whiffle for Longoria, another hang whiffle. And after having any players, there guys, nothing, and our guys coming to bat.
In the 2 spot, Jose Abreu hitting 3rd. And Biciedo on a 7-game hitting streak, and he's been hitting everything in sight. Then it's Paul Konerko, the DH, Alexi Ramirez, Alejandro Diaza, Gordon Beckham, and Adrian Nieto rounding it out. The key defensive setup and how they'll line up behind Cesar Ramos. Rodriguez, Jennings, and Myers in the outfield, with Longoria, Escobar, Zobrist, and Loney in the infield. Ryan Hannigan behind the plate. And last year's reliever, Cesar Ramos, takes them out. He started a couple of times. He's only in the rotation because 60% of their starting rotation is out injured. And so Ramos, who last year did not make one start, has a very strange motion. He throws almost like a catcher. And he's got both a curve and a slider. Nothing overpowering, however.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. Here's Adam Eaton. We're going to show you something that last night. Now watch this play. This is what won us the ball game, really. Is hit not getting which where his foot hits the bag. Hits the front of the bag. You very seldom ever see a runner hit the front of the bag. They hit the first third or the first middle. Now, if he hits the middle of that bag last night, the ball game's over because he's out. Brian Anderson, one of their announcers, along with Wayne Stats. Wayne Stats certainly one of my favorite all-time announcers. And Brian was talking about it. And he said, "Did you notice where his foot hit the bag last night?" I said, "No, I didn't." He said, "Hit the front of the bag, and if it hits the middle, then the game is over." which it would have been. So a smart play by Adam. And we're just happy he didn't go diving in, because the game would have been over.
And from what we've seen of injuries, maybe over for him also.
Well, that's the big thing. That's the big thing. Outfield, very short, swung well around to the left.
That was an interesting swing by Eaton, who just kind of stood there. Very defensive swing. No stride at all. He realizes that it was too close to take and just barely picks it out of Hannigan's glove to foul it off.
And that's going to be a souvenir, left side.
He's going to see his 6th pitch of this at bat. That's what you like to see against guys who are lifetime relievers forced to start. They can use a whole lot of pitches. Get Joe Maddon to go down to that bullpen, which by his own admission, he says he's been using quite a bit.
Count evens at 2 to Adam. Comes in at 276. He has faced Ramos one time, and he has a hit. Ramos gets over there like he should. It's the perfect feed from Loney. And that's out number 1.
James Loney is an outstanding first baseman. And when you're moving away from the bag and you're doing a 360 spin, it's tough to throw it on the mark. But he puts it right there, gets it to Ramos a step ahead of the bag, allows him to right his footwork. You want to touch the inside of the bag with your right foot.
Well, not following the National League that much when he was with the Dodgers. Last year, he made a believer out of me. That guy's a good player.
He is exceptional defensively and a 285 lifetime hitter.
So here's Marcus. Well, Loney also led the majors in line drive percentages last year.
Pretty good.
That ball into short right center. Now Jennings takes charge, makes the call, has the ball for out number 2.
There's only 2 players in the major leagues this year with 2 4-hit games. Marcus Semien is one of them, and Emilio Bonifacio, who plays for the Chicago Cubs, is the other.
So here's a young man he came in with a lot of fanfare. And as it turns out, it wasn't enough. He's already broken the rookie record for home runs in April. And he has 5 games to break the RBI record. There's a chopper 2 hopper down to Longoria. So Ramos with a very easy 1-2-3 inning, and after 1, no score.
Good. I think we're actually standing for the first part.
What are we going to do?
inning, which was the master plan. Hit him very hard, let him go, and then pick up a guy who had a chance in Seattle to be pretty good, but's fallen on hard times, and maybe a reclamation project for Don Cooper.
Yeah, and right now he'll start in the bullpen. That's for now the plan. But you know, he's been a guy that's had starting in his past. He's got 21 career starts in his 69 games, and I think he started 18 in 2012. So potentially he could fall into that role. But for right now, they want to get him back on track. He threw in front of Don Cooper and Rick Hahn today, and I guess they'll kind of just work with him. He's in the end of the bullpen for right now.
Rodriguez with a grounder to short. So Don Rodriguez, who is 6 for 13 lifetime off Danks, is retired.
Tell us a little bit about Scott Carroll. Our fans don't know a whole lot about him, but tomorrow afternoon they're going to know a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. He's 29-year-old. He was a third-round pick of the Cincinnati Rangers in 2007. Has been with the Rangers and then, Cincinnati Reds, and came to the White Sox in 2012. And he's been here for the last 3 years, but part of that was sidelined because he had Tommy John surgery there, and I think he was playing winter ball, and October 2012 had to have surgery, but made it back to the mound last year by July 5th and made 11 appearances, had a 3.29 ERA over those 11 appearances, and has been throwing the ball well at Charlotte so far. It's going to be his major league debut. He's 29. He's 3-1 so far this year. I think a 1.57 ERA in 4 starts. So, you know, he was one of the guys we were looking at with the injuries starting to pile up in the rotation that might be coming up.
Well, hopefully a good debut tomorrow. I know for him it'll be very exciting. And Dan, thanks for all the information, and we will talk to you down the road.
All right, thanks a lot.
Dan Hayes says there's a bullet by Abreu off the bat of James Loney. So that's the first hit of the ball game.
Loney's always hit the ball hard. That fastball down and in. And this one is by Abreu before he can react to it.
Well, as I mentioned, Chris Kamka digs this information up for us. Almost 30% of the balls he hit were line drives last year. That is amazing. Led the big leagues.
And because he uses the whole field, he's usually pretty impressive.
So here's Logan Forsythe. That ball gets away.
It's a wild pitch for Danks. That's his third. And this one just eats up Adrian. But he doesn't go after it correctly. It's a backhanded stab instead of trying to take it off the chest protector, keep it in front of him. But he's a young catcher. He is learning. And not many better to learn from than Mark Parent.
Well, he's getting better and better. You can see that's one of my big thrills in baseball, is watching our young players and their maturation process as they continually just have that slight upward trend of improvement.
We have enough young players and enough talented young players where it's not going to take him too long to pick it up.
Well,
and Adrian doesn't have any experience above A-ball.
We talked about it in spring training. In all my years with the White Sox, this is the most talented group and core of young players and talent that I've ever been around. There's a base on ball to Forsythe. So the second walk issued by Johnny. We got some young kids that can play. So here is Yunel Escobar hitting at .220, a homer. He's driven in 2. He was 1 for 4 last night, and he has hit Danks well. 9 at bats, has 5 hits. .35 degrees as we speak. That's too bad about Gillespie. Boy, he was swinging the bat well, hitting the ball hard.
Connor was hitting .302. He'd driven in 12 in 16 games.
Actually, he was hitting the ball better than .302. He was hitting it harder. There's
nice play by Tom Foley.
Another changeup out in front. So 2 on, 1 out, 1-2 the count.
Outfield straight away. And there's a look at Connor. Very stubborn injury that just would not heal.
Well, that's probably the most under the radar painful injury in baseball is the bone bruise. That's low. 2-2. And that's top foul. I had a teammate that played with a bone bruise. He played through it, which back in those days a lot of guys had to because of the culture of the game at that time frame.
1-year contracts.
1-year contract.
He played through a lot on a 1-year contract.
Exactly right. And Steve, there for a period is he gone. Good change. 2 down.
John loves to see right-handers because that straight change looks so tantalizing, and then it just disappears, and before you know it, you strike out.
But there for a period of about 2 weeks, every time he swung the bat, he screamed.
Well, you get it. You can get it on the heel of your hand.
That's where he had it.
You can get it on the thumb. And you can get a bone bruise actually on your heel from stepping wrong at first base.
Which I did that in the 7th game of the World Series.
Yeah, that's not good.
No. Hannigan. Ryan Hannigan. 1 for 4 with an RBI last night.
They got him for his defensive prowess, and yet he's hit 3 home runs and driven in 12.
There's a bullet by Simeon. So Loney's going to score. Now they're going to wave the walk around. So Forsythe's going to score, and it's a 2-0 Tampa Bay lead on a rocket off the bat of Hannigan.
Right, Hannigan's now driven in 14. John tries to throw a cutter, and it just pretty much stays right there. He doesn't get it inside enough, and Hannigan takes it right down the line. So Foley saying, let's go. Loney scores easily, and Forsythe right behind him.
So here's Zobrist. He walked last inning to lead off the ball game. Well, let's get back to Danks. Being a pitcher and probably experienced some of this yourself. And I know you and I have seen a lot of other pitchers who experienced it. First and second inning woes. What could it be?
Well, I would have to know how much of his warm-up he takes from the stretch. The reason being that you're going to go out there in the first inning. If you give up a walk or a base hit the first 2 hitters, you're going to pitch in the stretch. So for the most part, you don't spend a great deal of time from the windup, yet a lot of pitchers fall into the habit of taking 70-75% of their warm-up pitches in the bullpen from the windup. Doesn't help you very much when you walk the leadoff man and you're in the stretch immediately in the first inning, and you're in the stretch after the first hitter in this inning. It could be that. It could get to the point where you struggle so much. Not ideal conditions at 35 degrees, so you're not feeling your fingers particularly well. That could be it also. However, John has struggled in the first inning a lot, so it's probably not the temperatures.
Nieto able to control it. So a full count to Zobrist.
Keeps it close enough so that Hannigan, a fellow catcher who couldn't read how far it was going to roll away, just stayed at second.
Change up, Simeon. And they get him, but the 2 outs. 2-run double by Ryan Hannigan. It is 2-0 Bad Guys.
So on Noche de la Familia night, Minnie, one of the great Cuban players of all time, tosses it to one of the current group of great Cuban players. And look what Minnie did during the 50s. Look at that company. 300 average, 400 on base percentage. Ted Williams, Mickey Mantle, Stan Musial, Jackie Robinson, all Hall of Famers. Minnie Minoso, 306 with a 400 on base percentage. That's pretty elite company. And that was the giveaway. That is the statue, and the replica was given away. They're not giving away the actual statue because obviously it's too heavy to take home. But there's a look at Minnie, who was just a terrific player and maybe, judging by those numbers, particularly overrated, underrated by most people.
Well, I played against Minnie, and Minnie stood right on top of the plate. In fact, his arms hung out over the plate.
And he got hit a lot, I'm sure.
Well, he got hit 192 times in his career. That's a lot of times. As opposed to, I'll give you a comparison. He led the league 10 times in getting hit by a pitch.
That's not a good category to lead.
Here's Viciedo hitting at 370, leading the American League in hitting. Carl Yastrzemski played 23 years, and he got hit 40 times. But you got to remember the culture of the game back in those days, in the 50s, when Minnie first came in, and even into the early 60s. So he was thrown out a lot and hit a lot.
As I say, didn't get out of the way all that much, especially if you stood on top of the plate and dared the pitcher to come inside.
Well, he wasn't. Minnie was, and he, you know, in playing against him, of course, coming up, I was a fan of his when I was coming up from high school and minor leagues, as that's popped up into short right field. So Myers will make the catch, but the thing was, when I first played against him, I loved to watch him play because he had fun. I mean, he was always laughing and joking around the batting cage. He was like a kid, and he was an older guy then. Here's Paulie. Paulie has faced Ramos one time. He's 0 for 1.
Ramos, originally drafted by San Diego Padres, was a supplemental first-round pick and got just under $1 million, $950,000 to sign in 2005.
Paulie takes first pitch strike.
Paulie was unhappy with himself that he took a first ball fastball. So that was a pretty good pitch. It was down where he could handle it.
And there's a shot. So Paulie starts it off. And right now, let's check out our picks to click tonight. Banjo, our director and the crew, well, they went with Viciato. Steve's going with Gordon Beckham. And Pete Catazone and I are going with Paul Konerko. And it was great to hear that he was at the ballpark today after having to be rushed to the hospital. And again, thanks to Mike Mazza, who was quick thinking and quick decisiveness, got him to Rush, which is one of the great hospitals in the world, with some of the greatest doctors. And it was a procedure that could have been very, very, let's put it this way, could have been fatal. And they took care of it. Immediately. So here's Alexei. Alexei hitting at .358. That's third in the league. That ball into right field. Two down, and baseball fans don't miss one of the game's best rivalries when our Sox host their Cubs in the annual Crosstown Cup May 7th and 8th right here at our ballpark. No bragging rights on the line, so tickets are available for as low as $19 and can be purchased at whitesox.com/tickets. May 7th and 8th.
Ramos has such an unusual delivery that I think he's pretty tough to pick up, especially when you first see him.
Here's Diaz. Diaz 2 for 4 last night.
But a huge double in the 9th inning really started things off with one out and nobody on, down 2 runs.
Couldn't get that one. Yeah, and that was Pete Catazone's pick last night. Gap out there. Little gap out there in right center. Boy, Myers way off the line in right field. Popped up short. Escobar makes the catch. And that'll retire the side. We have completed 2 and we trail it by 2. Jennings, Myers, Longoria here in the top of the third inning. They lead it 2-0. 2 out, 2-run double by Ryan Hannigan. Takes the bunt, takes the ball. Jennings struck out on a good changeup his first trip.
Jennings originally a 10th round draft pick for these Rays, so he's paid dividends for it. Last year played left field. Now in center field, he can go get him alley to alley. He's got terrific speed.
Two and one. That's high and deep into Jimmy John territory. And that is out number one with Myers coming to the plate. And if you're looking for a flexible ticket plan for the season, Sox Pick 7 and Pick 14 plans let you select the games you want. That's including great matchups, promotions, and fireworks nights. So 312-674-1000 and visit whitesox.com. Myers. 6'4" fielder's choice. You get into. And he's a stand-up hitter. Talking about that in Detroit. I love stand-up hitters.
Well, very similar when you look at him and
Castellanos.
You'll see, well, Castellanos certainly, but just right in back of him, you'll see Longoria come to bat. And it's a very similar style of hitting.
Well, if you're playing on a team with Longoria and you're a right-handed hitter, especially if you're a young right-handed hitter like he is, Myers is 23 years old. It's not that you have to ask many questions, but you got to observe. And if you observe him, and you can watch, let's watch the front foot right here of Myers. And just when we watch it, just file it. Just file it in your memory. That ball is hit deep into right field. That's going to be a ground rule double.
You can tell which way the wind is blowing because the ball was knocked down in left center but kept on carrying in right center.
So here's Longoria as we take another look at it.
He went down, got that fastball, and put a charge into it.
He's strong.
He's got power to all field.
Yeah, he's very strong. Strong young man. But here's Longoria. So he picks up, Myers picks up his fourth double. Longoria just absolutely killed one right to Semien at third base.
The biggest difference in these two guys, well, obviously the success of Longoria, but he's a little more open than Myers.
Yeah, well, the front foot doesn't make any difference. Where it just will give you, well, he's open, or it will give you, well, he's closed. Front foot makes no difference. It's the back foot that determines how close you are to the plate or how far you are away from the plate. But you'll see as he drifts and wades into the pitch, glides right into it, that front foot will come towards the plate. Goes through it. He gone. So two down.
Nieto wanted that fastball inside, and sometimes you can miss with it, and it turns into gold. Adrian wanted up and in. He gets it right down the middle and throws it right by Longoria, which doesn't happen too often.
No, it does not. Yeah, can turn into gold occasionally.
You keep missing there, it's going to turn into runs.
You go. So here's Rodriguez. He grounded out to short.
Good pickup by Nieto. I talked with some of the Rays about Rodriguez. He seems to have gained about 15 pounds of muscle. He's really hit the ball hard this year. This is a perennial all-purpose player. But he started to sting the ball, and he's hit 3 home runs.
As we mentioned, he has hit Danks hard. 6 for 13. Outfield for the most part straight up. Three and 0 the count. So we'll see what Joe Madden wants to do.
Wouldn't be surprised with his success against Danks and the fact that he has been a power hitter this year if he gives him the 3-0 green light. That one was way out of the zone, and that was a pitch around. So he feels more comfortable facing Loney than he does facing Rodriguez.
Well, Loney just killed a single by Abreu last inning to start off that 1-out, 2-run second.
That's not a very good ratio when you've thrown as many strikes as balls in the 64 pitch total. We're only in the third inning.
And Loney takes ball one.
With runners in scoring position, Loney has been especially good.
And here comes Coop. He's 2-0, 3-1, 3-2 counts. Eventually, they're going to grab it.
John so far has walked 16 in 27 innings. And it's a minor miracle that he is 2-0 and his ERA is below 3. But just as last year, he didn't walk many people. And a strange statistic, he actually gave up more home runs than walks. 28 home runs, only 27 walks. That being said, this year, he's keeping the ball in the ballpark, but he's not throwing a whole lot of strikes.
And he threw, what, 28 homers last year? There's a strike, and the Sox been having trouble putting guys away. 11 of the last 15 runs have come with 2 outs. of 15. That's low. 3-1.
Got Logan Forsythe in the on-deck circle. They got him to be a run producer, but so far it hasn't worked out that well for it.
There's a base hit. So the 3-1 count got him. He overthrows the cutoff man. One of the few times that's happened this year, and it's a 3-0 game.
RBI number 15 for Loney. And on the overthrow, it allowed him to go into second base. So he's able to get on top of this high fastball. Just hit a line drive rocket into right field.
Well, that's a count. 2-0, 3-1 counts, you can get on top of high fastballs. 0-2, 1-2 counts, you're not going to get on top of high fastballs very often. Forsythe walked and scored.
He came over from San Diego, and the principal going back was one of their best left-handed relievers, one of their best relievers overall, Alex Torres.
So this is a big out. Ducks on the pond, 2 down, 1-1 to count. Either Forsythe or Escobar, a big out in this ball game. That ball hit hard in the right, but we got a man there. They come up with another 2-out run, and they lead it 3-0.
In-game live on CSNChicago.com. Brought to you by Comcast Business Class. Pretty nice crowd of very hearty fans who have come out tonight. Temperature
and first
started.
20,000 got themselves a nice replica statue of Minnie Minoso.
Started out at 35 degrees and has not gotten any warmer. That young man has his glove and he's ready to go in case anything comes his way.
Here's Beckham. Gordon 0 for 3 last night. Last year, Gordon hit .267, 5 homers, knocked in 24.
They're shading him a couple of steps into right center field, with Rodriguez well off the line in left, and a slight gap in left center. Gordon has not had a whole lot of luck with what historically has been an excellent pitching staff.
Two and 1 to count.
They've got 3 of their starters disabled. Alex Cobb has got an oblique problem. Jeremy Hellickson, who has an elbow problem, and Matt Moore, who was out for the year with Tommy John surgery.
That ball hit hard in the right field. Get over his head. It will. Thank you very much. Gotta hurry. He's safe.
Fortunately, that ball dropped off the glove of Escobar, because if not, he's out at second. That being said, terrific throw by Will Myers in right field. Gordon takes his fastball away, hits the daylights out of it, and Myers makes a fine play.
Perfect throw.
Unfortunately, you see the ball roll away.
So here is Nieto, switch hitting catcher. And he's got a job to do. Trying to do it. And the count 0-1. So Gordon picks up his first hit since rejoining us. That'll get the job done. That's a real good at bat right there for the youngster.
Adrian hit this one awfully hard. Ben Zobrist, a terrific player regardless of where he plays. Tonight, like last night, he's playing second base. But Gordon over to third base. And Adrian gets the job done.
And some fanny pats going into the dugout. So here's Adam. Adam grounded out 3-1 his first trip.
Longoria is in close at third. He wants to take the bunt possibility away. Now he's moving back. But on a ground ball in the infield, Joe Madden is going to concede the run. So all Adam needs is a little contact for RBI number 12.
Good recovery right there by Gordon. Meanwhile, 2 out. Right now, let's go down to Jen Latta.
Well, hey there, guys. You never want to send a guy on the disabled list, but the team felt like they had a little bit of an easier path doing so today with Connor Gillespie because of Marcus Semion's performance early this year. Semien has made 15 starts at second base, and this marks his 9th start at third base. That versatility is so valuable to this team. I asked him this morning if knowing he'll be at third for a little while now is comforting. He said not really. He practices all 3 positions every single day, and that his goal is to simply be in the lineup. So far, it's working out pretty good.
All right, Jen, thank you very much. As Marcus 0 for 1 popped up to center field.
This is his second look at Ramos, and so that unusual motion probably looks a little bit easier. Adam Eaton hit the ball very hard, but unfortunately hit it right back at Ramos, and Gordon couldn't do anything.
Over the years, we haven't had too many MVPs in minor leagues come up to the big club. Joe Creedy was MVP in AA and AAA. 2 different years. But Marcus is the first guy we've had who's MVP in 2 leagues in the same year.
He's got some pretty good skills.
Line shot right to Longoria, so that's a hang Wolfham for Semien. Meanwhile, we get the leadoff double. Nieto gets the job done, but we can't get him in.
Tomorrow, Konerko and the White Sox continue their series with the disabled Alex Cobb and the Tampa Bay Rays. Coverage begins at 12:30 with White Sox pregame live presented by Orland Park Toyota. White Sox Rays tomorrow at 12:30 on Comcast Sportsnet.
3 runs, 4 hits, no errors for their guys. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for our guys here in the top of the 4th inning. Vanilla Escobar. Vanilla struck out his first trip. And he singles his second trip. So he is now 6 for 11 lifetime off backs.
When Hannigan came over from Cincinnati, the one thing that he told his pitchers was, if you don't throw it over my head, you won't get it by me in the dirt. And that will enable that entire pitching staff to feel pretty comfortable throwing wipeout breaking balls and hard sliders in the dirt to get hitters. Last 2 years, he's thrown out more base stealers than anybody else in his days with Cincinnati. So he led the National League in that department 2 years in a row.
And he's swinging that bat. Had that 2-run double in the second inning last night. Had an RBI single.
You can credit Andrew Friedman with following Hannigan. He always liked him with Cincinnati, waiting for an opportunity where he might become available. And they loved Devin Mesoraco. Mesoraco, a terrific hitter and the catcher of the future for the Reds. So Hannigan became expendable.
And that's trouble. Fair ball. He's going to have another double. And they're going to hold Escobar third. So trouble a brewing. Ducks on the pond and nobody out here in the top of the 4th inning.
That was a changeup that John tried to get low and away, and instead he got it up on the outer third. And guys swing the bat as well as Hannigan has in this series especially. You can't miss by that much.
So now down 3-0. They bring the infield in. Zobrist has walked and he has grounded to third. That's fouled, and that's going to be a souvenir right side. Johnny 5-4 lifetime against these Rays in his career. Play by Simeon. Mercy. And now Alexei's saying he did tag him. And Chris Siegel is saying he did not. So what Alexei's saying is he wants a review.
Well, here comes Robin. He's going to talk with Chris Siegel. Heads up play by Marcus Simeon. Just his thought process of going after Escobar, knowing he had the time to go to first base, was a great effort.
From that angle, we couldn't tell what it looked like. He missed it.
From that angle, looked like he missed it. And Escobar thinks he missed it.
And so does Robin.
Still a heads-up play. And a play that saved 2 runs.
Boy, that was a magnificent play. So here's Jennings, a strikeout and a fly out to center. Outfield straight up, spread out about equidistant. And the count evens at 1.
Dunn has a lifetime winning record against these Rays. He's 5-4. His ERA a little higher than he would like. It's .390 lifetime. But again, you're always going against a terrific pitching staff with the Rays.
Well, the Rays, since Joe Madden arrived on the scene, the Rays have been a club. They don't give you anything. They are fundamentally where the Minnesota Twins used to be in years past. They're very sound fundamentally. Baseball 101. I mean, nothing fancy, no reinvention of the wheel. He has these guys go out there. They give him 27 outs every trip. That's all Joe wants. Give me 27 outs.
And you can probably count on one hand the amount of games that they will give you in a year. So you can beat them. They're just not going to hand it to you.
Well, they're not going to beat themselves. And there are more games that are lost than that are won. So that being the case, that's one reason they've been so successful in the Madden. Has the full count now to Jennings. He gone. Change up.
You got Jennings with a change in the first inning. And he gets him for the second time again here. Not where he wanted to throw it. He wanted to throw it low and away. He got it low and in. But it was velocity as opposed to location that got the out.
So here's Myers. Get a low and away pitch. One hopped. Actually, ground rule double in the right field. Fouls that one back. And the man is very strong.
He was the #1 prospect in the Kansas City Royals organization. Big game James Shields, along with Wade Davis, going over to Kansas City. Kansas City felt like they were ready to win. Tampa needed a young power hitter who was going to get consistently better, and that is Will Myers.
I knew he was strong, but I didn't know he threw that well. Terrific throw he made. And the ball hit by Beckham. That is high into left field. We got a man there, so thanks. Had men on second, third, nobody out, leaves them right there.
CSNChicago.com for Bulls Postgame Live. We'll break down the game, take you inside the locker room, and see where the series is headed. Bulls postgame live tomorrow after Bulls Wizards, only on CSN.
Big jam Johnny Danks pitched out of right there. That could have been a game changer, that inning. They lead at 3-0. 3-6-0 for the Rays. 0-2-0 for our guys as Cesar Ramos out of Los Angeles taking his warm-up toss. I'm just trying to think since he's been out there. I faced a guy, one left-hander, that had a similar delivery than that. I want to say his name was, I don't think it was, but I want to say his name was Dick Estelle from the Giants. Estelle, I think that may have been it. But anyway, here's Abreu. He's tough to pick up, and you said it perfectly earlier, especially the first time around.
Yeah, I think the second time through, hitters should get a better look. Semien hit the ball hard. Eaton hit the ball hard in their second at bats.
As low. What a job this man right here has done. Wow. 1-0. A new rookie record for homers in April. Got a chance to break the RBI rookie record. He and Pujols right now tied at 27. Counting this one tonight, he's got 5 games to get one.
As strong as Jose is, and with the wind blowing the way it does, this sets up perfectly.
Off the end of the bat.
That was a straight change that he couldn't read.
And a reminder, Sox fans, join us on Friday, May 9th at 7:10 as our Sox take on the D-backs. Also enjoy our Miller de Mayo celebration and postgame fireworks presented by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Miller Lite, official beer of your Chicago White Sox. So whitesox.com/Cinco or calling 866-SOX-GAME. There's Tank. He popped up to right field. Pretty good pitch. He didn't get it. The count 1-0.
I was watching Viciedo before the game today. He was looking at some tape of one at bat he had last night. And it was kind of interesting.
Softly hit. Escobar.
In that at bat, he got jammed with a fastball inside, and he kept on replaying it and looking at his hand. And I was talking to him about it, and he was showing me that he got the head of the bat out too quickly. That's what allowed him to get jammed, as opposed to leading with the knob of the bat and bringing the hands through. Almost an inside-out swing, very much like Abreu swings the bat.
Here's Paulie. Well, again, it's like Myers observing. That ball's hammered. Get down. It will. So Paulie now. 2-line shots. He's 2 for 2. Catazone's pick to click. But it's not so much today. Some of the best hitting instruction you got and hitting tips you got as a player in years past were from your teammates.
Well, today they might talk with the guys, and they probably do a bit, but then they can go in and they can look at every at bat, every nuance of every at bat, and if you face the guy 20 times, you can get that particular matchup 20 consecutive times.
Yeah. Go down to Brian Johnson get anything they want. Go back and review any count, any sequence. I think sometimes with certain guys, it's a little too much. You got to know what you're looking for. Because that's into left field. The catch is made, and that'll retire the side. We have completed 4. They lead at 3-0. It will be Longoria, Rodriguez, and Loney to face Johnny Danks here in the top of the 5th inning. They lead at 3-0. Longoria almost tore Marcus Semion's glove off with a line shot at third base his first trip, and he struck out his second trip. And he's got a 2-0 count.
Evan Longoria, the Tampa Bay Ray home run leader all time by 2 over Carlos Pena.
Beckham, nice play.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed action replay, and it's Johnny Danks runs at second and third and nobody out. Fine play by Semien. This is a play at third, but gets him at first base. Then the strikeout of Jennings and the fly out of Myers, and out of the inning, unscored upon, holding him right there with 3 runs.
That is high right side. Tanks fighting that. Now John can't make the play.
It's going to go E9. Towering fly ball. Wind taking it away, and he just missed it. Adam Eaton with a heads-up play. Tries to get the out at second base, but nothing doing.
So the second error committed by Viciedo. And here's Loney, who is 2 for 2. A run scored and an RBI. First pitch strike. That evens the count at 1.
Only had a choice of being a hitter or a pitcher. He was very good at both, hitting over 500 as a senior in high school while going 9-1. So he's had a long and a very good career to this point. It's probably going to get a whole lot better, and he made the right choice. Although left-handed pitchers are pretty valuable these days.
Well, last year we played him 7 times, and actually it looked like he was on everybody we had. He was barreling it up every time he swung the bat.
Well, he probably can hit a whole lot more home runs, but that batting average would sink, and he prefers actually not to do it, but will occasionally, just for his amusement and that of some of his teammates, put on a show in batting practice because he's very strong.
That's into center field. The tag. Rodriguez, here's the stroke. So 2 down.
Pretty good base running. He saw that was going to be deep enough and took off, and now a wild pitch can score him.
So here's Forsythe. He walked and scored in the second, and lined out the tank in right field in the third. Logan Forsythe takes a breaking ball strike. Change up, can't get it.
Joe Madden, who loves to use different lineups, 2 years ago used 151, last year used 146, and this year has used 5 different guys as a designated hitter. Forsythe, one of them.
Well, if you're on that ball club, you're going to play.
And the only consistent is Longoria will hit either third or fourth. That's the one consistent in this entire lineup as you look at Joe Madden in his 9th year.
He uses the whole complement of players. That's one reason guys love playing for him. They know what they're going to do.
That and the fact that he has no rules per se. Play hard every day and you won't hear from him.
That ball into left center field. And that'll retire the side. We are halfway home. We trail it 3-0. not quit. They will come after you. They're going to give Robin 27 outs, and that's all you can ask a team to do. So right here we've got a 3-0 deficit to overcome them. We got Diaza, Beckham, and Nieto to face Cesar Ramos. Alejandro popped up to Escobar at short. Outfield. Short swung around to the left. Huge gap out there in right center. Yeah, but getting back to Madden, he lets his players have fun. Well, I'll tell you, that is so important today because you get a lot of managers afraid to let their guys have fun. They don't know how to let their guys have fun. You know, and what was his theme this time? Hat. Wear a hat that was parallel to your personality.
Whatever you felt best characterized who you were, that's the kind of hat that you should wear. Now, there's no... You don't have to wear a hat if you don't want to. But most of the guys do, including the broadcasters, by the way. So Joe, who has a lot of theme road trips, this time it was just hats.
But a little out of the box. I love it. I just love guys who are a little out of the box. Don't go, so to speak, by the book.
Well, he is very much out of the mainstream. A lot of people wondered if it would work. He was a bench coach for Mike Scioscia. Actually taught him a whole lot about how to manage when they were with the Angels together. And Joe got his break, came over here. They certainly love him, and he's done a great job.
Well, he's got also smart enough to put good people around him. As we talked about, we got two of the best pitching coaches in the game in this ballpark tonight. Then you got a guy to Madden's right there who's a manager waiting to happen. There he is.
Well, he also learned, I believe, in his experience with the Angels. And Mike Scioscia, the only coaches that he's lost, with the exception of Mickey Hatcher, but the only coaches he's lost have been guys who have gone on to manage Major League Baseball teams. So he kept that coaching staff together, as Joe Madden has done in Tampa. Continuity. Very important on a team that doesn't have a lot of continuity because of low payroll. One year, they literally replaced the entire bullpen from one year to the next. And they're forced to do that because of low payrolls, low attendance. That's not easy to do.
Jazz got a piece of that one.
As you can see, Ramos throws a lot of strikes, doesn't waste a lot of time, and hasn't walked anybody. Consequently, 45 total pitches. And Johnny Danks at 102. Gordon Beckham in the on-deck circle, and he scalded the ball the first time up.
Yeah, he's got some good people around him. And there's a good workman-like at bat right there. The leadoff walk, and here comes Beckham.
Alejandro fouled off some good pitches, kept the at-bat alive until finally Ramos missed with a high fastball, his first walk.
So Beckham hit a line shot over the head of Myers in right field for a double. That's his first hit since rejoining us. Davey Martinez, just a manager waiting to happen, as we got a couple of them. And Mark Parent, Joe McEwing. Chops that one foul. 35 degrees when we started and 35 degrees as we speak. And that's going to be a souvenir.
In our bullpen, Hector Noesi recently activated as Connor Gillespie went on the disabled list. Hector is getting loosened up. Here's a look at the newest addition to the bullpen and the staff. That ball bounced well in front of home plate. Nice stop by Hannigan.
Yeah, right there.
You got to have really good hands.
You better have really good hands.
The ball bounces that far in front of you.
If you're going to come up, you better have really good hands. Or you're going to be in trouble. That's outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Jennings way over into right center field. They've almost taken away the entire right center field gap.
There's a shot, base hit right back through the middle. So Gordon 2 for 2. More importantly, 2 on, nobody out.
Gordon's been up twice, hit the ball hard twice, and this time takes it right back up the middle. Ramos cannot get the glove up. So a very promising start to the 5th inning. And that'll bring Jim Hickey out to the mound. His first real spot of trouble that Ramos has been in tonight.
Adrian Nieto will be the hitter.
In the 2 previous starts for Cesar Ramos, he went 2 innings against Cincinnati. He went only 5 innings against the Yankees. So even though the pitch count is down, he's not used to going deep into games, as you would expect from a lifetime reliever.
So here's Nieto. Now he's going to square it around, moves up in front of that box. And that'll get the job done. That's 2 at-bats for him, 2 good at-bats. His first one, Beckham had doubled, and he had a P on the right side to get him over the 3rd.
Terrific bunt because he gets it far enough away from Hannigan that he can't get it. It forces Ramos to come in, and he has to get it. And then only one plate at the first base. And he had plenty of time. Not a big advocate, and especially on a cold night, of picking up the ball with your bare hand and throwing it. That can lead to some problems, but he made the play well.
So here's Adam. And he takes strike 1.
Bullpen up and going, and it's Brandon Gomes. He was throwing last night for just a few pitches. Didn't get into the ball game.
Adam leads All-American League leadoff man with 11 RBIs. Outfield short and around to the left. Snap. Good play by Ramos. So a big out, 2 down.
That's the second time in essentially the same situation that Adam took it right back at Ramos. Came up the last time He had Beckham at third base and 1 out, and hit it right back to Ramos, and this time with an RBI opportunity again, right back at Ramos.
So it's up to Marcus with Abreu on deck. For Marcus hitting in a good spot, sitting in a good spot. That's the last thing he was looking for right there. Curveball misses. 9 of his 13 RBIs have come with 2 outs. So he has done some clutch hitting.
Longoria well back at third base.
Now he's got the definite catbird seat. 2-0 with Abreu on deck. Here it comes, Marcus.
You got to figure that he's going to get a pretty good pitch here, because there's no way he wants to face Abreu as a go-ahead run, and that's going to bring Hannigan out from behind the plate. It's also going to bring Zobrist in. He wants to know how exactly they're going to pitch Semien, because it's going to determine where he sets up. Now you look at some pretty impressive numbers so far. Hasn't struck anybody out. Walked only 1. But no runs into the 5th inning.
Short and quick. And the count 3-0. No sense in looking down at Joe McEwen.
He's not going to give you the green light.
No.
That's for sure.
And there's ball 4. That'll load him up.
Reminiscent of last night when he drew a walk, setting the stage for the heroics of Abreu against Grant Balfour. After the Semien walk, loaded him up. That's what Jose did. He knocked them all down. Took a curtain call and a 3-run win.
Long look in. Now he accepts. Big hack.
And that got a piece of Hannigan.
Well, we told you about the rookie record for home runs in April, which he has. He has a good chance to get the rookie RBI record for April. And also, he is the first player in Major League history to have as many as 3 multi-home run games in his first 24 career games.
Pretty amazing what he's been able to do in his first go-round. And he's seen a steady diet of straight changes from Ramos.
Now he's taking, might be by design, might be a little gamesmanship, taking a lot of time. Which there's nothing wrong with that if you're the one that's dictating the action. 1-1 to count.
Time now for the AT&T U-verse multi-view. 2 walks and a single. The game is on the bases. The go-ahead run is standing with a bat in his hand.
Slowly hit. Longoria, nice pick by Loney. So he pitches out of it. We threaten, can't score. We'll go to the 6th. Three runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Rays. No runs, 4 hits, 1 error for our guys. We have stranded 6. And they have stranded 7.
And Johnny Dank's still out there at 103 pitches. But Hector Noesi continues to throw in the pen, and you figure John would be on a short leash.
Escobar checks it up. He has struck out and he has singled. Two and one to count. Three and one. It's full.
Pretty tough to walk away from the plate and convince Tim Timmons that it wasn't a strike when the fastball was pretty much right down the middle.
Watch out. Bat shattered. $30 bill bit the dust.
Jose Abreu has been seeing a steady diet of straight changes. And he sees another one. This one out away. Gets in front of it. And Longoria does a terrific job. And so does Loney at the other end.
Here's Hannigan. Had a 2-run double in the second and another double in the fourth. And the count 2-0. Outfield straight up, spread out. Just a small gap out there in left center. Semien back. 3 steps off the bag, off the line, I should say. So the count moves to 2-1. Another 3-1 count. Another full count. Scott Carroll for us tomorrow night, making his Major League debut. That ball hit hard into center field, but Jimmy John territory, also Adam Eaton territory.
One part of the ballpark, although Hannigan hit the daylights out of it. Here's a statistic called wins above replacement, or WAR, for Ben Zobrist. From 2009 to 2014, he had 33.7. As you can see, Robinson Cano at the top, Miguel Cabrera, shows you how good Zobrist and Longoria are. It's a single statistic summarizing a player's offensive and defensive contributions. To give you an idea, if your WAR is 2, you're an everyday Major League starter. If it's up to 5, you are an all-star caliber player. If it goes to 8 or above, you are a candidate for an MVP. And that's a sabermetrics term that is coming into vogue.
He falls behind 2-1. Longoria, Zobrist, 2 mainstays in this ball club and have been for a while. Now Loney has put himself in a good position.
Well, the great part about all of them is not only they contribute offensively, but they're all Gold Glove candidates. Pretty amazing that Zobrist has made at least 2 starts at every position on the field, except catcher and pitcher.
Payoff pitch once again. He loses in. And he's throwing a lot of pitches. 4th walk issued by Johnny.
Well, he would love to get out of this inning because if he can, and he's only going to do it because Jennings is going to be the last man he's going to face anyway, he will have at least 6 innings pitched in every one of his starts, which in this day and age is a pretty good number.
Jennings struck out twice and going out to center. Curveball, no.
That's a pretty good pitch, and he didn't get it. Now at a career high at 122 pitches. And there you look at the numbers.
That's into center field. Adam. Yes. Nope. Ball falls out. Had it for a moment, it looked like. And it's a 4-0 game. Well, Johnny fell behind every hitter this inning. The walk comes around to score.
By falling behind Jennings, he wasn't able to throw him a straight change. And Adam goes up as high as he can go, keeps the ball in the ballpark, but has it drop out of the glove. And that's going to be the last pitch that John is going to throw tonight. So Noesi will come in as Johnny Danks departs. It's 4-0 game as Zobrist scores. And we'll step out and be back after these messages.
Will receive free White Sox tickets and cool exclusive kids clubs item. So visit whitesox.com/kids club to join the club today.
And Hector Noesi comes into the ball game. He's a big right-hander, 6'3", 205. With Seattle and Texas in 5 games, not too impressive, but a lot of that is expanded because of the 7 runs that our ball club tacked on him in 1 inning of work in Texas.
That was back on the 20th. Well, he won that game 16-2. So 1 in, 2 out, 1 on. And here's Myers. He is 1 for 3 with a double and a run scored. Yeah, Bill keeps it in front of him. Strike.
Hector started his career with the New York Yankees, signed in 2004. Surfaced in the big leagues in 2011 with the Yankees, then Seattle in 2012.
One and 2 the count to the 23-year-old outfielder. Myers has faced Noesi 1 time, and he is 1 for 1. Two and 2. It's Scott Carroll against David Price. game tomorrow afternoon. And that game will be right here on Comcast Sportsnet if you can't make it. And Monday night, Rienzo against Odorizzi. And that game also on Comcast Sportsnet. And Tuesday and Wednesday, the Tigers come to town. As that ends into left center field, we got a man there, Diaz, and that'll retire the side. But they pick up one. We'll go to the bottom of the sixth. It is now a 4-0 Tampa lead.
Come back to CSN for the Blackhawks post-game live. We'll break down the game, bring you inside the locker room, and see where the series is heading. Blackhawks post-game live presented by Hawk Ford. It's tomorrow after the Blackhawks and Blues, only on CSN. They can end it all with a big win tomorrow. And you know they don't want to go back to St. Louis.
So Ramos concluding his warm-up tosses. It'll be Viciedo, Canerco, and Ramirez. Tell you, the Hawks are fun to watch. Man. You're talking about TW. They got plenty of it.
I don't mind going overtime on occasion, seemingly every occasion.
That absolutely great team to watch. Outfield slightly to the right. Tank is popped to right and grounded to short.
American League leaders Matt Joyce at the top and Viciedo and Alexi Ramirez right there with Rajay Davis sandwiched in between and Matt Wieters right behind.
There's a good way to start it. Attaboy, Tank. So we pick up our 5th hit.
That fastball was up and out over the plate. And Viciedo took it right over the head of Zobrist. And a promising way to start the 6th. And I believe because this is just his 3rd start, Joe Madden is going to go to the pen. That's going to be it for Ramos. He got the 5 innings he wanted. And he has the 4-run lead to this point.
Well, if you'd asked Joe Madden, will you take 5 with the lead? He would have said yes.
That's exactly what he's got. So we'll step out and be back after these messages.
885 to get your popular 1983 Sox merchandise and support your favorite hometown teams. So call 312-674-5-SOX for more information.
And Brandon Gomes comes into this. He's 1-0, ERA .312, 10 strikeouts in 8 2/3. Left-handers have really hurt him over this young season. He'll be facing some right-handers, however.
Here's Paulie. Paulie 2 for 2. Takes that pitch nicely.
Last year, Gomes had a tough time with Tampa Bay. He was 3-1, but his ERA over 6.5 in 26 appearances.
There's a strike, and the count evens at 1. Well, we grew up in Fall River, Mass. About an hour from Fenway. Nobody out. Tank at first. Nice job by Zobrist. And there's 2 out.
The throw was not a good one to second, but then Zobrist, with a nice off-balance throw, gets away from the sliding Viciedo.
So here's Alexei. Alexei, 2 flouts, one to right and one to left. That is high into left field. Wind's knocking it down. That ball was hit hard by Alexei. He cannot believe it stayed in here. Meanwhile, we're into the 7th. And much, much more. So join us for a family field day on June 21st and support White Sox charities. So to purchase tickets, visit whitesoxcharities.org. Top of the 7th inning, 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors for their guys. No runs, 5 hits, and 1 error for our guys.
Ramos did a nice job in his 5+ innings, gave up 5 hits, no runs, didn't strike out any of our hitters, let walk a pair. A nice job by Gomes in relief getting out of the inning.
Longoria, Rodriguez, and Loney. Longoria line very hard to third. He's 0 for 3. Takes a strike. 1-1 to count. He's faced Noesi 6 times, has 3 hits. Right at the bottom on the corner. Outfield straight up, spread out about equidistant.
Noesi's got a good enough fastball to be successful. What he has to show major league hitters or reestablish is that he can get his secondary pitches over the plate. If not, they're just going to sit on that fastball, and that's not real good.
Well, he's never had a control issue. In fact, he's always, if anything, probably had too good a control. Base on balls very low for the innings pitched. As that's into center field. And 1 out. Yeah, if you're not a burner, you're not 95 up, or have a fastball that's about a foot quicker than it looks on the side, some deception in your motion of some sort, you better get your secondary pitches over.
Yeah, I mean, his fastball is good enough. It's 93. And that's certainly good enough to establish something off speed to keep the hitter off balance. 93 in the zone usually gets hit hard.
There was one, 93.
There is Matt Joyce, who set an all-time Rays record, walking 5 times last night. He leads the American League in batting average, and with the addition of those 5 walks last night, he leads the American League in on-base percentage.
Yeah, he came in second to Tank. Tank now with the base hit 1 for 3. Tank with 370. Joyce 364. One and 2 the count. Hands that one.
That does have all-star credentials on his record. 2011, he was an all-star.
If you're just tuning in, they scored 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and 1 in the sixth. Johnny Danks.
This team has been so consistent that only Texas, along with the Rays, have won 90 or more games over the past 4 years. That shows you just how good they've been.
Well, they've had good pitching, but again, the big thing is they probably beat themselves fewer times than any team in this league.
When you consider where they play, which is the American League East, and who they have to play 18 or 19 times a year, that's pretty strong.
That ball hit deep in center field, but we got a man out there in Jimmy John territory. Yeah, when you don't beat yourself at any level, even the major leagues, you're going to win more than you lose. So here's Loney. He's 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. And you can catch the ball like they do, and you don't make any, or many, I should say. Everybody's going to make mistakes, but even mental mistakes, but they make fewer than others.
Well, we talk about Detroit's starting rotation, justifiably so, but if these guys were all healthy, David Price, Alex Cobb, Matt Moore, Chris Archer, and Jeremy Hellickson, this would be one of the better starting rotations. But 60% of these guys are gone for a while.
And what's the common denominator for all those guys?
They're very good. And they all have good straight changes. And that is taught by this organization probably more than any other organization in baseball.
That's right.
Joe Maddon told me about his philosophy of pitching. He wants all their guys to throw a 2 and a 4-seam fastball. And the second pitch he wants is a straight change, with the third pitch being the overhand curveball.
Well, and it's common sense for Joe, not common sense for a lot of other guys, because of the fact the best pitch in baseball is a well-located fastball. Second best pitch is a changeup.
And if you have them both, you don't have to use that many breaking balls. And Joe would just assume that nobody throw a cutter, and he's not that enamored with the sliders. So those 3 pitches, if you can command them, that's usually good enough.
That's going to be a tough one to get to. Bounces into the seats for a souvenir. So the count hangs at 1-2 to Loney. Yeah, when your pitching staff throws strikes, and they have good changeups, and your defense catches the ball, you're going to be a contender.
And Jim Hickey has had a whole lot to work with, but he's also made them a very good staff consistently.
Well, there's a base hit, so Loney now picks up his 3rd knock.
When James Loney's with the Dodgers are always after him to hit for more power because they realized how strong he was. But that's not who he is. He's a line drive hitter who uses the whole field, and that's when he feels he's at his best. So when he came to Tampa Bay, all Joe Maddon did was, I don't care what happened in Los Angeles. We just want you to be you. Hit like you can, and we're going to be very happy. And he's got a Gold Glove caliber first baseman who's a lifetime .285 hitter who makes contact all the time.
So here's David DeJesus. Forsythe was 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Well, Joe Maddon does not micromanage like so many other guys do. As I said, he lets his guys have fun. And that's been that is one of baseball's biggest fallacies, in my opinion. You get so many guys in this game. I've been around it all my life, as you have. You get a guy like Loney, line drive type hitter. He's strong. Well, we want you to hit home runs.
Oh, sure, because that's, you can hit.
Now all of a sudden, you get a guy who comes in who's strong, hits home runs. We want you to be a line drive hitter. I mean, it's almost invariably that's the way it is. They're going to change it. They're going to do something. It's unbelievable over the years to watch. I've seen guys get called up from the minor leagues, and before they face one pitch by a major league pitcher, they're changing their swing.
Well, good organizations do it. It's not just, it's not just organizations that are scuffling trying to find their way. Sometimes it's very good organizations that decide to take that philosophy.
Everybody, almost everybody.
I know you remember a hitter by the name of Merv Rettenman, who came up with the Baltimore Orioles when they were just a wonderful ball club. And he hit the ball to right center field. He was a .320 hitter. That's what he did. That's who he was. And they said, no, you have to hit for power. So he tried to pull everything and never was the same hitter, ever.
High breaking ball, 2-2. Yeah, they want to micromanage, micro-instruct, micro-evaluate. Unbelievable. Two out and the 2-2 pitch. He gone. Change up. Seventh inning stretch, we trail at 4-0.
Matt Joyce, who came on to pinch hit, stays in the game to play in left field.
You know, getting back to organizational philosophies, though, that's one thing I like about the White Sox is they have gotten to the point that when they sign somebody and they bring them in, they're going to allow them not to fail, but they're going to allow them to get their hard knocks before and make them receptive to instruction, so to speak.
I think that's probably the only time you can be receptive is when you fail.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
if you don't fail, there's no reason to even bother talking.
Diaza has popped up and walked. Had a good at bat leading off fifth inning during that walk. You know, first of all, a guy had to do something or you wouldn't have signed him in the first place.
Scott Downs loosening up in the pen. The inaugural voyage for Hector Noese was pretty good.
I like that last pitch he threw.
Off-speed pitch over the plate.
That changeup.
Pretty good.
We didn't see that
No.
in that inning down in Texas when we roughed him up.
Yeah, he was too busy covering up in back of the bases.
Ducking.
Yep.
Ball hit hard. Meanwhile, just a hard strike. And the count 1-2.
Gomes normally a whole lot tougher on the right-handers than the lefties. Unfortunately, Alejandro got around. Touch too quick.
That's fair ball. And that's out number one.
It was a straight change out of the zone, and he reached out and just tapped it. Good pitch by Gomes. This one sinking, and Alejandro had already committed himself. Couldn't get much into the swing.
Here's Gordon. A hard double and a hard single. No balls, 1 strike to Gordon Beckham. Outfield swung well around to the right. Huge gap in left center. That ball hit sharply. Zobrist. 2 out. And fans, you can follow every White Sox game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.TV game of the day, and more. So download the App Store or visit WhiteSox.com. Here's Nieto. He's 0 for 1. He's had 2 good at-bats. Back in the 3rd inning when Gordon led it off with a double. He hit the ball to the right side, hit it very hard, got him over. And in the 5th inning, after Piazza walked, Beckham singled. There's that good job. And then Adrian with a perfect bunt. Just those 2 at-bats right there should tell you a little something. That when you have a definitive plan of action, you're better off thinking that way than when you're thinking about mechanics or what your swing is.
Well, it's one thing to be called upon to execute, another thing entirely to then execute. And even though it's 0 for 1, I think Adrian probably showed Robin, certainly Todd Steverson, that he's got a pretty good handle on what to do with the bat.
And I loved his technique on the bunt. Yeah, that technique on that bunt play was nice. Watch how he moved his feet up. He walked up in front of the box a little bit. So that's going to take anything that's moving down. He's going to get to it a little quicker.
That's one of the biggest mistakes that guys who are going to bunt make. If you're going to sacrifice, get up as far in the box as you can. Because then when you bunt the ball, it's going to be in fair territory. If you get to the back of the box, it has to cross foul territory to roll out, and sometimes with the spin, it'll roll back.
And a lot of time, most of the time, it's going to be where all the movement is. From the front of the plate to the back of the plate. As he gets him, meanwhile, we're into the 8th. We still trail at 4-0.
Photo for a chance to be shown on our broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T, and there is the photo tonight.
And it's a handsome photo.
nice young Sox fans, and of course you can never have enough foam fingers. It is a chilly one as Scott Downs comes into this one. There is a look at Scott. On for the 12th time. ERA 7.71. Control has been an issue with 7 walks in 7 innings.
It'll be Escobar, Hannigan, then back to the top of the order with Ben Zobrist. Escobar 1 for 3. Sharp single leading off the 4th inning. Outfield straight up, not equidistant. First pitch strike. 31-year-old shortstop. Breaking ball low to even the count. Just off the plate. And there is a bullet back through the middle, so the leadoff man aboard. And checking some scores for you. Minnesota beat the Tigers 5-3 at Target Field. Hughes over Ortega. Perkins picked up his 6th save out at AT&T. Giants beat Cleveland 5-3. Gutierrez over McAllister. Romo with his 6th save. Bottom of the 9th in Baltimore, Kansas City and the Orioles are tied at 2. Top of the 8th in Milwaukee, Brewers leading the Cubs 5-3. Here's Hannigan. 2 doubles, 2 RBIs. And then he drove one deep into center field. That wind knocked it down. That's right side and souvenir time. Bottom of the 8th in Houston, tied at 3 with Oakland. D-backs shutting out the Phillies 5-0. Top of the 6th in Phoenix. Atlanta, they beat Cincinnati 4-1. Pittsburgh beat the Cardinals 6-1. Boston over Toronto 7-6. That was Buchholz over Morrow. Washington shuts out San Diego 4-0. The Yankees beat the Angels 4-3 in the Bronx.
Hannigan has never had more than 6 home runs. He played in very hitter-friendly Cincinnati. Never driven in more than 40 runs. So this, a renaissance here for him offensively. And he swung the bat very well in this series.
He looks terrific.
Yes, sir.
Both ways. As that's into right field, right at Tank. So 1 down. He looks good with the lumber and the leather. Four 9-0 for them, 0-5-1 for us. Zobrist 0 for 2 with 2 walks and a run scored, and he was robbed of extra bases on a brilliant play by Semien. Takes a strike. And another strike. Sober's the kind of player you'd like to have a team full of.
Well, you can put them anywhere.
That's what I'm saying.
And they give you just a great job. A switch hitter, guy who comes to play every day and does it exceptionally well.
And that is into right field. That's out number 2.
A couple of Cuban players talking over at first base. Escobar and Abreu. And another one was honored before the game today, Minnie Minoso.
In that Boston 7-6 win over Toronto up in Canada, Pierzynski had a grand slam homer. There's first pitch strike. Jennings, an RBI triple. Terrific effort by Adam Eaton. Got a glove on it, just couldn't hold on to it. Pretty good pitch right there and didn't get it.
Scott probably wanted that one.
Timmons has been solid tonight. Adrian Johnson said he did not go.
Looked like he might have got a break here, but nope, he didn't go. Good call.
Two out. One on and the 2-1 pitch. $35 when we started, 35 degrees as we speak.
Yeah, I mean,
think that thing's stuck?
I don't think so. I think it's frozen. It's frozen at 35.
Yeah, yes.
It's like some of our very faithful fans.
He gone. Hook. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Come on, boys, let's do this.
Is this live?
hope you're right, our Chuck.
On the last pitch by Scott Downs, he threw a breaking ball, got the strikeout, but looked like he might have hurt his thumb somehow. Right there, he's trying to shake it off. He was talking with Adrian Nieto between innings. And then, still holding it, he went down the tunnel. And he's talking with Hermie.
All right, we got the right guys coming up. Adam Eaton. Adam, start us off. That is fouled away and into the seats. Adam is 0 for 3. He's grounded out 3-1, and then 1-3, and 1-3.
Rays bullpen up and going. As Brandon Gomes has done a terrific job in relief of Ramos, got him out of that 6th inning.
He put the handcuffs on.
And as much as Joe Madden has used their bullpen, he wanted an extended outing from Gomes. Knowing that you're sending a pitcher to the mound for just his 3rd start, he had only gone 5 innings once. So Joel Peralta, who we saw last night, warming into pen.
And that pitch outside. Won't help him out. 2-2. Huge gap in right center. He did not go. Got it back.
Good call by Chris Siegel. Marcus Semien looking for his first hit of the night. And he threw out Joe Madden.
Talking with Joe yesterday, and he understands our club has really been doing a great job at coming back, and that's what a little bit of this probably predicated this. He wanted that check swing called on Adam.
Well, take a look at this from the side again, and could have gone either way. Looked like a good call by Chris Siegel, and Joe gets a heave ho. That would be a lot warmer.
That's lined hard into the seats for a souvenir.
And there is the bench coach, Dave Martinez.
He and the long one-iron Martinez's. Boy, he can hit a one-iron.
He's
so far.
a lot stronger now than he was when he was playing.
He was strong when he played.
He's a big man.
He was strong when he played. Here's a payoff pitch. There's another comebacker. 3 comebackers by Adam. And that's out number 1. So that'll bring up Semien. Was popped to center, lined hard to Longoria, and walked.
That's the first time that Joe's been given the boot this year.
It won't be the last.
No, the 34th of his career.
Well, you might tie Joe, but you're not going to beat him.
Now, I had a long talk with him before the game today, and he is going to get in the restaurant business. An Italian restaurant in the Tampa area.
That's pop. Foul. So 2 down.
So I gave
well, you
Joe,
can bet your bottom dollar it's going to be a good one.
Well, I gave Joe the secret. You get a terrific partner who can run a restaurant, and then you go and eat and really enjoy yourself.
Well, if he's going to be involved, and it's going to be a good one. So here is Abreu. He is 0 for 3 twice. He's gone out to third and once to first. Checks it up. You 9 homers, 27 RBIs. 9 homers, a new rookie record for the month of April. 27 RBIs ties the rookie record for RBIs in the month of April. Last year, we had 3 multi-home run games by 3 different players. He already has 3 in April. Out and around that one. Escobar. So another nice inning. And we're into the 9th. We need 4 to tie. There it is. We got 3 more outs to come up with 4. We got to hold them right here first. It'll be Myers, Longoria, and Joyce. Outfield straight up, spread out about equidistant. As young man takes first pitch strike. He is 1 for 4, double and a run scored. Hit a low and away pitch, just muscled it out there. One hop, ground rule double over the right field fence. And the count 0-2. He didn't care for that call, but it was a good head plate.
2 pitches very close to one another. Tampa has left at least one base runner on in every inning so far.
Big on hook.
That was one of the better curveballs that Scott Downs has thrown. He got on top of it. And this one just exploded down and in.
Yeah, he struck out Jennings on against curveball as well. So here's Longoria. He's 0 for 4. That curveball down and in. Two and 0 the count.
Juan Carlos Oviedo loosening in the pen after just a great job by Gomes.
Yeah. Gomes. All he did was retire everybody he saw. One into a double play. Evan chops that one foul. So the count 2-2. Second of this 4-game set. We took the opener last night, scoring 5 times in the bottom of the ninth to win it 9-6. Highlighted by that grand slam home run by Abreu, the second homer of the game. And tonight, Cesar Ramos just shut us down. 5 innings, no runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, no strikeouts. And then Gomes lights out. A little quick off the end of the bat. 2 down.
There are the matchups tomorrow. David Price and Scott Carroll in his major league debut, 29-year-old. And then Jake Odorizzi against Andre Rienzo in the finale on Monday.
So here's Matt Joyce. He's been to the plate one time, fly deep to center field. Takes first pitch strike. They get a shift on him. Tried to get him to chase it. One and two. He gone. So he's featuring the hook Did him well. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. Viciedo, Canerco, Alexei, the scheduled hitters.
A 4-run lead as we head into the bottom of the ninth inning.
Viciedo will lead it off, and we need some base runners. Tank making his way to the plate is 1 for 3. Led off the 6th with a single. Just tuning in, they scored 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 6th. We had a couple chances. We had a man on 1st and 2nd, nobody out in the 5th. Beautiful sacrifice bunt by Nieto, moved them over, and we just couldn't do anything from there. Couldn't get them in. So here we go. 1-0.
It's the first one I've seen get by Hannigan. Of course, with nobody on, it doesn't matter very much.
I think he could care less.
Yeah, that was just a bit wide. And that's 2 of them just a bit wide.
2-0.
And the bullpen up and going if Oviedo has any problems.
There's a strike. Oviedo, 32 years old, 6'2", 195. Bueno now resides in Santo Domingo in the Dominican. Don't help him out. 3-1. And there is the leadoff walk. So you may remember, some of you out there, Oviedo, formerly known as Leo Nunez.
He was a player to be named later.
Well, when he was Nunez, Paulie was 2 for 3.
Well, he's a different guy now. So
I know, so we don't know what's going to happen.
He's never seen him.
No, that's it. Paulie, 2 sharp singles tonight, and he takes ball 1.
That's going to send Hannigan out, and that's going to bring Jim Hickey out. Bring in Escobar. Bring in Longoria, and everybody else they can find. There is Grant Balfour, the man who gave up the 5 spot last night in the 9th.
There's the strike. On 09 for Florida, Dan Nunez picked up 26 saves. 2010, 30 saves with him. 11, 36 saves.
He had very good stuff, and then apparently after getting hurt,
Tommy John in 12.
Changed names and moved teams.
2-1. Don't help him. Close pitch goes Oviedo's way.
Tim Timmons gave that to Scott Downs, and he gives it to Oviedo.
Well, the good thing is that coming into the night, Sox lead the major leagues in 9th inning runs with 26. As that's foul. Next team has 17. But coming back in ball games is a state of mind.
State of mind, and it always helps to draw a couple of walks. There's only 2 hits in the 9th inning. There was 3 walks. That led to 5 runs.
Well, that's the best thing for a state of mind.
Just keep taking ball forward.
Yeah.
And then somebody hit one out.
Yeah. Two-two pitch. Just got a piece of it.
Well, as you can see, there's no real pattern, except the pitcher struggling with his control.
Once again, the 2-2. Got him.
That was a change, and a good one, as it dipped way out of the zone. That ball well out in front.
So here's Alexei. He's due. He's 0 for 3. Last time up, he just killed one. Could not believe it stayed in the park, but it did. Next low and away, ball 1. Not holding Tank on. Then he takes ball 2. Baltimore just beat Kansas City 3-2. Bottom of the 10th at Oriole Park. 3-0. Take 2.
Well, you would think that if he doesn't get Ramirez, he probably won't be around to face Diaz. And another thing to bear in mind, Adam Dunn is available and on the bench.
Tank's going to take the ground ball double play out of the equation.
Anaheim goes out because they have to use a new set of signs with Viciedo out at second base. There is Adam. And he's got a bat. Certainly would see him representing the tying run. There's a big break for Oviedo.
Yeah, that's not a good pitch right there. That's a bad pitch and called a strike. Timmons had a good game, but he blew that one. Bad time to miss a big pitch.
Lexi's only walked 5 times. That would have been very important 6th.
Payoff pitch. Popped up, playable. So ball 4 went by the boards on that call, second strike by Timmons. And now there are 2 outs. There's Alejandro. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Alejandro has popped to short and grounded to first. And there's 2 outs. Takes first pitch strike. Beckham on deck. Gordon's hit the ball hard 3 times tonight. Once for a double, once for a single, once for a 4-3 putout. Change up way out in front. Ball gets away. Tank into third.
That's a good little something extra on that one. And it's well inside.
Throw another one like that. I hate to get shut out. We've been shut out 1 time this year. As the count moves to 2-2. If you're just getting home, tuning in, we had a couple chances, but overall they pretty much dominated. Up the middle's over. It's a little backhand, and this ball game is over. So for the second time this season, we get shut out. And Steve, we just got beat. That's it.
Well, the best part of this one was a good job by Scott Downs, a good job by Hector Nuese in his White Sox debut. Other than that, Johnny Dank struggled and couldn't get to Ramos or their pen. You just got beat. There's not much you can say.
And our GMC player of the game is Brandon Gomes. What a job he did. 3 innings. He retired everybody he saw once into a double play. So for my partner, Steve Stone, our director, Jim Angio, our producer, Mike Leary, our associate producer, Chris Kampka, our technical manager, Mark Harper, also for the Mayor, Mean Joe Group, and the executive producer, Jim Corno Jr., also Mike Mayer, Frank D'Amato, Doug Buller, down in sound. This is the Hawk. So long, everybody. Coming up next, Subaru Postgame Live with Chuck and Bill. You've been watching White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet.